This is Public Access Part 1. I want to begin by having all of us introduce ourselves. So when I call on you, please say your name, your pronouns, and anything else you would like for us to know about you. I will start, though. My name is Jason. I use he, him. They is also fine. I am the creator of the game Public Access, as well as the two games it's derived from, Brindlewood Bay and The Between. I am very excited to run this for the group today. This is the first time I've run it outside of playtesting, so I'm very just anxious to dive right in. Let's cut over to Jazzy.
Hi, I'm Jazzy. My pronouns are she, her. I'm very excited to play this game. Yeah, that's it. I have a cat. You'll probably see him.
We'll
Come
probably
by.
see him. Yeah. Thank you. Let's go over to Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben. I use he and him pronouns. I make character keepers. I've been deeply immersed in the public access character keeper for the past couple of weeks. I'm really excited to get to use it.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And Steph.
Hi, my name is Steph. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm pretty cool if I do say so myself.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I use he, him pronouns. I also go by Xander or Crit Failsafe on the Gauntlet Discord. I wrote stuff for Public Access, and I have been so unbelievably excited for this game. I also co-host the Dark and Threshold podcast with Jason.
Fantastic. Thank you. So we're going to begin with introducing the game. And the first thing we do, and for people who are watching the video, all of this stuff is scripted in the actual rule book. So what I'm about to do, you will also be able to do by just reading the rule book. But we're going to start with CATS. So CATS is an acronym that stands for Concept, Aim, Tone, and Subject Matter. The purpose of CATS is to establish some basic expectations for what this game is about and what we're going to be doing during this first session. So the concept. Public Access is a tabletop role-playing game about a group of people in 2004, the Deep Lake Latchkeys, who find themselves investigating strange mysteries in and around the town of Deep Lake, New Mexico. In the early 80s, or in the 80s and early 90s, Deep Lake was the home of a notorious public access TV station called TV Odyssey. The history and fate of which, the station literally disappeared, is the source of much speculation in certain corners of the internet. As the Latchkeys conduct their investigations in Deep Lake, they will become increasingly aware of the central role TV Odyssey plays in everything that's going on, and will have to face whatever terrible truth lies at the heart of the infamous TV station. Public Access takes inspiration from early internet horror stories, creepypasta tales, and urban legends. It's also inspired by the analog and found footage horror subgenres, synthwave and vaporwave music, and American pop culture from the 80s and 90s. The game's mechanics are based on Apocalypse World, Brindlewood Bay, and The Between. You don't need to know anything about those games in order to play. Aim. The aim of the characters in the story is to investigate local mysteries in order to get closer to the truth of what happened to TV Odyssey. Our aim as players is to learn more about these characters' pasts, as well as to paint a vivid picture of our version of Deep Lake, New Mexico, a responsibility we all share. The aims for today's session are to introduce our characters, learn the basics of how the game works by playing it, and then having a debrief at the end. Tone. The tone of Public Access is nostalgic, weird, and terrifying. Everything should always feel just a little bit wrong, a little bit off. Levity and humor is totally acceptable, especially in the early parts of the game, but as the overall story progresses, things will get weirder and scarier. Subject matter. Cosmic horror, graphic violence, ritual sacrifice, sexism, sexual desire, childhood trauma, consumer culture, and other dark and sensitive topics can come up in this game. We'll talk about safety tools in a bit, but in the interest of setting expectations right now, you should know that this game occasionally deals with dark and intense subject matter. Let's go ahead and talk about safety tools. No game is more important than the people playing it. We're going to paint a dark, unsettling portrait of Deep Lake, New Mexico, but we're going to do it in a way that respects everyone's boundaries of safety and consent. In order to do that, we'll be using 3 safety tools: the open door policy, the X card, and lines and veils. The open door policy is very simple. You can leave for any reason, and you don't have to explain yourself. Just let us know, and we won't ask any questions. The X card. The X card is here in case something in the game makes you feel uncomfortable in an unfun way. Now, in the context of this video call, just say X card out loud or type it in the chat and I'll stop play and we'll change whatever we need to change. Finally, we'll be using lines and veils. Lines are things that we are not going to have in the game, period. Veils are things that we're okay with being in the game, but we prefer not to role play them, or we simply want to keep them off screen. Importantly, even though I earlier listed a bunch of dark subject matters that come up in this game, you can still include one or more of those things as part of lines and veils. As I said before, no game is more important than the people playing it. I will start by saying my lines and veils right now, and then you can let me know yours on our character keeper. And so my lines and veils, as an example, we're going to have sexual violence behind a line, which means we're not going to have that in the game at all. And then we're going to have torture behind a veil. I'm okay with torture being a thing in the story. I just prefer not to role play the torture. And so now we're going to begin character creation. Now, we've already created characters before we got on this call, but I want to go ahead and read this part anyway, just for edification and for people watching the video. So before we begin character creation, I want to share a few more details about the setting. The game takes place in and around the fictional town of Deep Lake, New Mexico. Deep Lake and surrounding Degolla County are in a remote part of the state. It's also not real. It needs to be pointed out. I know Steph is from there, so there is no Degolla County, New Mexico, except right now. The town has fewer than 5,000 residents, but the eponymous lake attracts vacationers and seasonal hands in the summer, doubling the number of people around. The player characters, all of you, are a group of people in their early 20s who met on an internet forum and bonded over their shared history. They each spent part of their childhood in 1980s and early 1990s Deep Lake. They were each latchkey kids, and they were and are fascinated by TV Odyssey. A latchkey kid, in case somebody doesn't know that term, is it was a thing that was kind of in the 80s, especially. I was a latchkey kid. The idea is you would come home from school and kind of take care of yourself for the few hours before your parents got home from work. That's what a latchkey kid is. So they were each latchkey kids, and they were and are fascinated by TV Odyssey. They did not know each other when they lived in Deep Lake, but they found each other now. And under their new nickname, the Deep Lake Latchkeys, they intend to find out the true story of TV Odyssey. The Latchkeys are united by something else, though they aren't yet aware of it. They each suffered a terrible trauma in their childhood. Sharing and exploring those traumas is something they will do together as they get more involved in the mysteries surrounding the town. You should avoid talking about these aspects of your latchkey, both in and out of character, until prompted to do so by the game's rules. Just before the game starts, the Latchkeys they've decided to meet in person. They have rented a house on Rodenbecker Street in Deep Lake and are going to spend the summer there, getting to the bottom of what happened to TV Odyssey. They haven't had much luck figuring out what happened to TV Odyssey by the time the game starts, but they'll stumble onto some other mysteries in the town that will keep them occupied until then. So we've already made characters, so we're going to go straight to that part. So now that we've made characters, let's introduce them. We're going to go around the table and everyone's going to introduce their character by name, style, and the things that, quote, take you back. You can also tell us what your latchkey move does if you wish. I'll remind you that you should avoid sharing key details about your character's past, particularly those elements explored in the part of the character sheet called the key of the child. Like, don't dwell on your childhood, basically. And so with all that said, I'm going to go in the order of the sheet and start with Jazzy. Just give us the basics of Jazzy for now, or Ashley rather, for now, Jazzy.
Yeah, so Ashley Oaks, pronouns she, her. She has this very striking ginger blonde hair. It's usually done in braids or a messy bun, or like some trying to get it out of her face, but it never quite works. Her style is matching sneakers. What takes her back is choose your own adventure, passing notes in class, and heading home when the street lights flickered on. The move that I picked is thank you for being a friend, which means that it's pretty easy to open up to me. And when we do a nostalgic move, the other latchkey can clear a second condition, or they can take a condition feeling good. And if they clear feel good, they get an advantage on a die roll.
You're basically like the easy person to talk to.
Yeah, that's the goal.
I love it. Thank you so much. We're going to come back to talk about some other stuff, but that's good for now. Okay, Alex, tell us about Nathan Toomey.
Yeah, I'm playing Nathan Toomey. His style is hoodie under blazer, which is actually what I'm wearing because I'm also of that style. What takes him back is The Joy of Painting, the Bob Ross show, DuckTales, ooh, and the Walkman. My latchkey move is you never know what you're going to get. You have a background doing research. What is it? I'll get to that in a moment. And then once per session, when you do the meddling move by looking through books, microfiche, old records, or online archives, you find an additional clue even on a miss.
Fantastic. Our researcher. That was a very non-committal. Ooh, you gotta go. You gotta really go for it,
Here,
Alex.
Okay, fine. It's DuckTales. Ooh.
Very
There you
good.
go.
Thank you. Fabulous. 7 out of 10. All right, let's move on to Steph and Steph's character, Christopher.
So Christopher goes by Topher for the most part. They use he, she, and they pronouns. Her style is all the scarves, so I imagine she has a different one for any occasion. And what takes her back is the old board game Dungeon, the old ASCII computer game Rogue, and TV show theme songs. I haven't decided which one quite yet.
Fantastic. Do you want to tell us what your move does, or do you want to hold that for now? Because yours is kind of like
yeah, I'm
secret-ish.
thinking that we'll
yeah.
let it go until it comes up.
Yeah, I agree. All right, fabulous. Thank you. Let's go over to Ben and Sean Thompson.
Yeah, Sean Thompson uses he, him pronouns. He's a nerdy meatball. He has the cargo shorts and Triforce t-shirt style. What takes him back is Artax in the Swamp of Sadness, fighting fantasy game books, and anything Jean-Claude Van Damme. The latchkey move supporting the meatball part of him is Where's the Beef? He starts out with more vitality, and he's a little bigger and stronger than most.
Fantastic. Okay. Now that we've done those basic things, we're going to go around again. And I'd like for you to tell us 3 pieces of information related to your character's young adulthood, basically where they are right now in their lives. I'm looking for 3 different things. What do they do for a living right now, if anything? What do they want to do in the future, if anything? And if they have a significant other back home, because remember, you've all moved to Deep Lake for the summer. If they have a significant other back home, who is that person and what do they do? If you're ready, Jazzy, to tell us those things about Ashley, we can do it. Otherwise, I can kind of go to the next person.
I might need another minute if somebody else has something.
Yeah, if somebody else wants to go, we can just go and just dive in.
Yeah, I got some stuff for Nathan.
Go ahead.
So for his current occupation, he works as a background designer at Warner Bros. Home Entertainment in Burbank. So he like paints backgrounds that are used in animation for film and TV. And he wants to eventually write his own series and film kind of for the animation industry and become an art director to really kind of like helm one of those things. But, you know, he's kind of on the early bottom rungs of just painting things. And he did have a significant other until very recently. Him and his girlfriend of Isabella, she got a opportunity to go get her master's studying abroad in Copenhagen. And they kind of tried to make it work, but after only like 2 weeks, like it was clear that it wasn't going to work out. So they had to like break it off. And Nathan will say that it was like a mutual agreement, but you know, he knows it was like, he didn't want it to happen, but you know, there really was no opportunity to make it work. So
now that we've kind of gone a little deeper with Nathan Toomey, I would like for the rest of us to talk about some of the things that we think Nathan might have brought with him to Deep Lake, based off what we know about him, based off of you know, his background as a set director or a set designer and painter, and the other things that we've learned. So whatever we come up with, these are the things that are going to initially populate the part of your character sheet called your corner of the house, Nathan. This is functionally like a character, like equipment list, because anything that you have in your corner of the house that you could plausibly have on your person, you do have on you in a moment if you need it. So who has an idea for what Nathan might have brought to the house on Rodenbecker Street?
I think you have a Tamagotchi that was Isabella's, and you've just like trying like desperately to like keep it alive because it reminds you of her.
Ow, I love that.
This is really good, actually. Yeah, so go ahead and put that in your corner of the house.
I was thinking a collection of lint rollers for your blazers.
Okay, I'm into that.
Go ahead, Ben, if you have something. I'm still thinking.
I think you have a satchel with lots of images of your work. Your
Oh, like my portfolio. Yeah, that's cool.
And I think you actually brought some, I think you maybe brought some canvases and other art supplies. So
I'm gonna write that down as canvas and other art supplies.
indeed.
Awesome, I love that. Yeah.
Fantastic. So we're going to go to whoever's ready to tell us a little bit about themselves next. And again, we'll all be paying close attention so that we can tell them things that they might have brought with them to Deep Lake. So who wants to go next in terms of talking about your career, your hopes and aspirations, and your significant other, if any?
I can go if
Please
no one
do.
else is ready. So Topher is a freelance programmer. He doesn't get terribly much work other than maintaining websites and stuff like that. So they are able to do it pretty much wherever they are. He also prefers candlelight over electric lights. She stares at a screen all day, so soft light is nice. She doesn't really have anyone back home. See, I don't think that he's had a significant other yet. And they host a web page called the deeplakelatchkeys.com, and it's a blog that recounts their investigations.
Oh, nice. Good. I like that. Who wants to suggest something that Christopher brought to Deep Lake?
I think you have like an old IBM hardcore laptop. Like this could be dropped down the stairs and probably be okay. Maybe dent the stairs.
I love that.
I think you have just a bunch of random numbers on a sheet of paper. What are these numbers to? Are they codes? Is it code? Are they passwords? Like, we don't know, but you just have like this long list of like numbers.
Incredible.
I think you have a like staggering collection of like video games you brought with you. Maybe like what was a console that was out in 2004? Xbox, I assume.
GameCube,
GameCube.
the
Oh
first
yeah,
Xbox.
Yeah, you brought a GameCube and a staggering collection of games.
Love that for her.
I think they have like an old tiny like style to look like it's Victorian or something, like an oil lamp that they can use for the candles.
Choice.
Fantastic. So go ahead and just note all that stuff down, and we will continue on. Sean or Ashley?
I have to step away for a few minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay, go ahead. Ashley, you can go ahead.
I'll try and make something up because I can't decide. I think first thing that pops in my mind, I'm an ornithologist. I study birds. That's what I am now. And I think I just I like travel a lot because of this. You know, I gotta get all those birds. And I probably just returned from somewhere far away. I don't have a significant other, but I do have a research buddy. You know, and we've worked very long hours in the darkness together. You know, very, very late, very tired studying those birds. Nothing's happened, nothing's been said, but research buddy. I'll make up a name and all those things when I need to. And I think what I want to do in the future is, you know, probably just, I think she's really into like studying conservation and making sure that, you know, the habitats of the birds are safe, like all of that, more so than like wanting to publish an incredibly well-known paper or something like that. That's not really her thing. And what was the other one that we had to think of?
I think that's all of it. Yeah.
Okay,
Just
yeah,
what you
that's
do,
it.
what you hope for, and if you have a
I'm
significant
a
other.
bird girl,
Yeah.
and I think she just kind of has that vibe of like being everybody's bestie.
Yeah,
That's sort
yeah.
of what's going on.
I love it. I'm going to say that you
That's-
actually.
oh,
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay. I think you brought with you your pet lovebird. You have a pet little bird that, you know, you brought with you, obviously, to take care of.
I'm going to say that you actually have like an address book with essentially like all of the sort of conservationists and activists like in the region. So like you can like reach out to these people. Yeah.
You have a very old, like antique set of bird watching binoculars.
Amazing.
I was
love
gonna
all of
do
these.
that if not, yeah, the context.
Yeah,
is-
so good.
I'll give you another thing since Ben's not here. Well, no, I had an idea, but it's a little too similar to another thing, so I'm gonna hold it.
I'll add, by the way, that I did say like lovebird, but if you can make it whatever bird you want. Like if it's a parakeet or whatever, just go with whatever.
I like it.
Let me take a look at your things that take you back. That might help me kind of get inspired here. I'm kind of just killing time till Ben gets back. Also.
I'm just like, oh no, now I have to search up bird facts. What did I do
Yeah,
to
exactly,
myself?
right, yeah.
Why did I do this? Why did I not take my own job? I don't know.
What would the alternative have been?
I was thinking translator because that's what I studied. Ultimate, like, don't work in it, but I studied it. And I was like, that would also explain travel and all of that. But I watched The Murmuring from like the Cabin of Curiosities from Del Toro.
Yeah.
And it was such a good, that one was so good. I was like, birds. It's birds now.
Such a good show. I've been sitting through it and getting through it pretty slowly, but oof,
So good.
so good.
What was it? Lot 137 or something like that? Inspired something.
There's
I
a
wrote
public
for this
access
game.
thing, yeah, inspired by
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ben, Ashley is, I don't know if you heard any of that, but
I did.
Ashley is an ornithologist who does not have a significant other, but does have a research partner back home, and is sort of like like a conservationist and type person specifically related to birds and nature. So if you have something to put into
I think you
corner
have
of the house, yeah.
a small water testing kit.
Nice.
Nice.
And oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that's gonna be fun if we have to poke around the actual lake at all.
The actual lake, yeah, I know, yeah.
Mhm.
Fabulous. Okay, and finally, Sean, tell us about you.
Well, back at home, which is Pennsylvania, he works at a GameStop and also at a gym as a personal trainer. He, until very recently, had a boyfriend named Mark. Him leaving on this harebrained investigation was the final straw. So very recent breakup.
What do you hope for?
One day he'd like to own his own gym.
Oh, okay, interesting. I'm going to say that you brought an incredible amount of like protein powder and supplements.
I think I'll keep it in the family with workout related accoutrement and say that you have with you your kettlebell set.
I think you have an engagement ring you were planning to give to Mark.
Oh,
That's good.
I think you have an Atari.
Nice. It's interesting because working at GameStop in 2004 is a really different proposition than working in one in 2023, right? Like it was a much cooler job back then, especially for somebody of this age. Fabulous. Okay. Let me take a look at my script here. Okay, now that we've met the characters, we are ready to play. We would normally take a little break, but I think I'm gonna just push through. I'm going to introduce the first mystery. If you haven't done so, please go note your lines and veils. And I want to tell you that even though this is a game set in 2004 and makes lots of references to American pop culture of the 80s and 90s, we aren't going to dwell on historical accuracy. We'll do our best to represent the technology and culture of the various eras explored in the game, but we're going to get some things wrong every now and then, and that's okay. I'd also like to point out that during the time periods we're talking about, people with marginalized identities would likely have been treated more poorly in society. We're going to largely ignore that part of history unless it's important to the development of a character or emotionally resonant in the story. And even then, we'll always stay within the bounds of safety and consent, as previously discussed. As a general matter, in the world of public access, things like race, nationality, gender, ethnicity, sexuality, disability, and neurodivergence are not a social barrier. And so, are there any questions up to this point? Okay. Then we are going to dive right in. I'm going to introduce the mystery and then we'll take a little break then. You all met on a small online forum called the Deep Lake Odyssey. The people who gather on this forum are interested in the mystery of a public access TV station in Deep Lake, New Mexico called TV Odyssey, which broadcast on cable channel 94. TV Odyssey operated from the late 1970s to the early 1990s, offering studio space to and airing a variety of local productions. The station literally physically disappeared in 1992. At the time, local officials said a fire burned the station down, but there was no evidence to support that. The station simply vanished. Perhaps even more strange, the people of Deep Lake and surrounding Degoya County can't remember TV Odyssey, or if they do, they aren't talking about it. The only evidence TV Odyssey ever existed is the vague recollections of people on the forum and the so-called Odyssey tapes. The Odyssey tapes are VHS recordings that supposedly contain episodes of the various shows that aired on Channel 94. The Odyssey tapes are recognizable by their distinctive purple clamshells, the paper inserts of which depict Dayglow pyramids and Torii gates. The Odyssey tapes also have physical properties that are unexplainable by science. The content of the tapes can only be viewed at night and cannot be transferred to any other medium. Attempting to watch one during the day or from an internet upload have all failed. The image just shows a blank blue screen. You got to know each other on the forum over the course of a few months and have decided to spend the summer in Deep Lake looking into the mystery of TV Odyssey. And you hope to maybe even snag an Odyssey tape or two. You each lived in Deep Lake when you were kids, back in the late 80s and early 90s, though you didn't know each other at the time. You have vague recollections of TV Odyssey, and you hope that pooling your knowledge and resources together might help you get to the bottom of what actually happened. Worst case scenario, you spend a few months in a small tourist town with new friends. You rented 26 Rodenbecker Street, a house in Deep Lake, and have been there for a few weeks, not making much progress on TV Odyssey. No one in town wants to talk, and you certainly haven't found any Odyssey tapes. But all of that changed this morning. Someone left an Odyssey tape on your doorstep. The Odyssey tape has its title written on the sticker on the side. It's called Happy Jack 06 Duress Signal, Pure White Pretext. I'll type that out for you in a bit. You'll watch this tape in due time, maybe tonight, but there's something else. Another mystery in the town of Deep Lake has found you. And I think we'll take our break there, and I'll introduce the mystery proper when we get back. So let's take 5, and I will see you then. Okay, so the Latchkeys, you've been in Deep Lake at the house on Rodenbecker Street for a couple of weeks, making no progress on what happened to TV Odyssey. No one's talking, except today. You found an Odyssey tape, or rather it was dropped off in your front door. An Odyssey tape with the rather cryptic title, Happy Jack 06 Duress Signal, Pure White Pretext. And also today, another mystery in town has presented itself to you. It is called the House on Escondido Street. In fact, a young man, Casey Wilcox, shows up at the house on Rodenbecker Street one day today. He's heard about your investigation of TV Odyssey. He doesn't know much about it, but he thinks you might be interested in another Deep Lake mystery, the House on Escondido Street. He explains that 18 Escondido Street has been abandoned since 1994, when the family that lived there, the Rappaports, disappeared without a trace. Casey was 10 years old then, and friends with Elliot, the youngest of the 2 Rappaport children. The other Rappaports are Dad Hugh, Mom Sherry, and Elliot's sister Abigail. He doesn't remember there being anything strange going on with the family at that time, which made their sudden disappearance all the more bewildering. 18 Escondido has become a local legend in the 10 years since, a classic haunted house right in the middle of Deep Lake. People avoid it. They say it has bad energy. Apart from some minor acts of vandalism over the years, the house is largely as the Rappaports left it. I'm going to pose a question to a person of my choice. I'm going to go with Sean. Sean, Casey's story includes a detail that makes you think 18 Escondido Street is evil. What is it?
It is, when you think of haunted houses, you know, there's cold spots and you get chills. This house is sweltering. No matter the temperature, no matter what's going on outside, it is uncomfortable and feels oppressive.
Very interesting. Now, the way this game works, your characters are going to be investigating the mystery of 18 Escondido Street, in particular, what happened to the family, because that's what Casey has come to you with. And the way this works is there are questions. Every mystery has one or more questions that you will be investigating, trying to find the answer to. You'll be finding clues, which you can then later on incorporate into an answer for the question. And if you successfully answer the question, you then get to pursue the opportunity associated with that question. The question for this starter mystery is, what happened to the Rappaports? It's a complexity 6, more on that later. And the opportunity unlocks is you get to resolve the mystery by revealing the truth to Casey Wilcox. Then, if you wish, destroy the house at 18 Escondido Street or perform a ritual to banish the evil that resides there. But to resolve the mystery, all you have to do is tell Casey what happened. So the other steps they're on you to decide whether you want to do that or not. You also have an aspect of the keys here in this mystery. Now, we'll talk about this more later, but essentially in this game, you have access to a rule called turning a key. Whenever something happens on the dice that the outcome is not great for your latchkey, you can say, I'm going to turn a key. And that lets you improve the result of the die roll and get a better fictional result. You have 2 keys on your character sheet, the key of the child and the key of desolation. There is also a key associated with this mystery called the key of the cave dweller. I'm not going to read what it does yet, but you can see it there in the little thing I posted for you. This game is divided up into phases. The day phase is the first one that we start with. It is, I would say, a very kind of free-form, almost casual phase. You all are in the driver's seat. You can investigate this in any manner that you wish. You can have any kind of scene that you wish. Perhaps you want to, get started on the investigation, really hit that hard. That's great. Maybe if you've picked your dawn questions, you can start working on your dawn questions by doing something that would help you answer those in the affirmative. If this was a later session and you had conditions, you might frame up an intimate scene with another latchkey in order to get those conditions cleared. And so I think I'm going to go around the table and just ask how everybody wants to proceed here, and then we'll figure out what the scenes look like. And so I'm going to start with Nathan. What do you think you want to do today?
Yeah, I think honestly, after hearing Casey's story, Nathan's gonna want to do a little bit of digging on 18 Escondido Street and the Rappaports. A little bit about what he can find just through
Like the library or something?
Library, yeah, go to the library.
Okay,
And
I
just
like
kind of
that.
like look into the old reports and all that.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. Christopher.
I think that Hofer's probably going to similarly do some research and looking into things on Escondido Street, but I think they're going to just sit by the lake and do some research on the internet.
I assume then you had brought some kind of like satellite modem or something, I guess, right? Like in 2004, what would be the way that you would connect to the internet?
It would probably have to be that, right?
Yeah, like, or maybe like, I mean, they did have mobile hotspots, so maybe you have a cell phone that you can hook up to, I guess.
Ooh, fancy. She's got the brick.
She does. She's got the brick. Well, Ashley and Sean, nobody's going to the house yet. Sean, what do you think?
I would definitely go in the house.
Yeah, the house sounds good. Ashley, what about you?
I don't think Ashley would let anyone go to a evil house alone, so she's probably going as backup.
Sounds good. I think I'd like to start with the house, actually. So Casey Wilcox will actually be with you, Sean and Ashley. He will kind of, even though you can find it easily yourself, he will nevertheless walk you over there to where the house is. He has a blonde faux hawk He wears Jinkos, which are those really wide flared leg jeans, and a flame print button-down shirt. He has a cleft palate scar, actually. He's a really nice guy, but you can tell that he has been, this is kind of stuck with him. This thing that happened to his friend, his friend's family just disappearing. And I think as you're sort of like crossing the road, or crossing the street to get over to where 18 Escondido is, he'll just kind of throw out there like, so the two of you you're from Deep Lake, like you used to live here?
I'm not from here, but I lived here for a while and then I left, and I'm from somewhere else.
Oh, where are you from?
Right now, Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. Oh, and he's like, are you from around here? Or to Ashley?
Yeah, I used to live here too. I actually heard about the house, but
He's like, well, I don't know how haunted it really is. I just know that, people have stories. They say things. I mean, who knows? Like if,
yeah.
These things just have kind of a way of taking on life of their own, I guess, right?
Mhm. Any house that's empty for a year is haunted, right? It's just how it works.
Right. Yeah. I definitely don't blame you both for getting the hell out of here, though. This town, oh man, it does shit to you. If you let it get its claws in you, it's over. It will like never let you go. That's what happened to me after Elliot and his family disappeared. I was in a bad place for years after that. And that's when Deep Lake made its move on me, so to speak.
What do you mean?
He's like, he kind of smiles and says, you'll find out.
Ooh, ominous. Are you all right though? I mean, going to the house, I don't imagine it brings happy memories. Or maybe
like,
it does.
Mm.
I don't know if that's worse.
It's like, honestly, I have not actually been inside yet. And you're at the yard. And I'll tell you that the front yard is, I mean, in a lot of ways, it doesn't really look, it looks almost like the house is still kind of lived in, just a little overgrown. You see a few little things like kind of laying around that no one's bothered to pick up or clean. There's like a little stand of tall ponderosa pines that kind of partially obscure the front of the house. Yellowing grass, sticky pine needles kind of all over the place. Let's paint the scene a little bit here, because these trees are kind of the first thing you encounter as you walk across the yard. Everyone gets to speak here, but it's just Sean and Ashley experiencing it. Something about the trees makes you think the evil in this place is in the land. What is it?
I think Ashley will immediately notice that there are like no birds' nests and no traces of birds having landed in these trees for a very, very long time. Like there's nothing at all, which why would they not land there? Why would they not do that?
I think you can't see the tree's roots because the dirt seems to almost be swallowing the trees, like it's climbing up, like the trees are being dragged under.
It's not extremely noticeable until you would walk under these pine trees, but the actual pine needles themselves, from a distance, they look like pine needles, and they are, but upon actually walking beneath them, there is this look of just looking at them reminds you of like pain. They just look very sharp. They don't look like they smell like pine. They look like they smell almost clinical. Just this really kind of unnatural smell and look that just does not evoke how nature should feel.
Underneath all of the scents of the outdoors and, the fresh breeze going through the copse of trees is a very faint scent of rotting meat, but no rotting meat to be seen.
Very good. Sean and Ashley, when you turn back, or at a certain point, you realize there's only 2 sets of footsteps going across the grass. And if you investigate, you'll see that Casey has not left the sidewalk. He's just standing there. Let's cut over to Nathan Toomey. Nathan, Deep Lake's a small town. Probably doesn't have the most extensive archive, but it does have a little library. And it's in a little small kind of like Adobe building. It only has a couple of rooms with shelves with bookcases. It's not the most extensive collection. But I think there's like a very pleasant little woman there kind of wearing a bunch of sort of turquoise jewelry and her hair kind of tied back in a bun. And she says, "Oh, hey there, out-of-towner.
Hi, are you the librarian?
I'm what passes for a librarian in these parts, I suppose."
All right, cool. Do you have a like a microfiche, newspaper archive, anything like that? What's your internet connection like here? Do you guys have computers at this place?
She's like, "Let's back up a minute.
Oh, okay.
What are you here looking into, son?"
Yeah, hi. I'm looking, I'm just wanting to do a little bit of research on some like stuff that happened in town a while ago. Do you know about the
I know
wrap
who
up?
you are.
I don't know who you are, so that concerns me.
You're that group of kids over at 26 Rodenbecker Street who've been asking about some TV station.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm here about, but yeah, no, I'm
There
over
was
on
there was no TV station. You're not going to find anything about a TV station here.
right, okay. But like I said, not what I'm here for. I was hoping to ask about 18 Escondido Street, the Rappaport family.
Oh boy. I mean, you're just regular ghost hunters, huh?
I'm not really into those ghost bro mystery show things personally, but sure, yeah, okay.
She says, she kind of comes around and she says, "I think the information you're looking for is probably not going to be found in a newspaper, probably more likely to be found in the funny books."
Why?
She says, "People tell tales. It's just stories the kids
Right.
tell each other to scare each other. There are no ghosts."
No, I'm sorry, I should have communicated better. Sorry, my name's Nathan, by the way. Who are you?
I think at this point, I would like for you to make the meddling move.
Uh-huh.
Let's read it aloud. If you all want to follow along, if you hover over to the left of the character sheet, all the moves are over there. When you search for a clue, conduct research, or otherwise gather information, which you are doing, even though she's giving you kind of she's being kind of a dead end. Describe how you're doing so and roll with an appropriate ability. I would say you're doing presence, but I'll let you make the case for something else if you.
I think if I can make the case for composure, my argument would be
Oh,
that
I'll
he's
take
just trying to be
composure.
very nonchalant.
Yeah, because she's
like,
being so like, yeah. I'll give you
Nathan's not
composure.
a social guy, so he's just trying to be
Yeah.
like, yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. I will use this fun little die roller Steph just linked us.
Yeah, you all need dice or the equivalent if you don't have any. So.
Yeah, I'll try this out. Okay, that is a 7 + 2. That's a 9.
So according to the move, on a hit, which is a 7+, you'll find a clue. On a 7 to 9, though, there's a complication, either with the clue itself or a complication you encounter while searching. I'll tell you what the complication is. She says, It's just a ghost story. Every place has ghost stories. There's no such thing as ghosts. Ghosts are just aberrant signals. Do you know what I mean by that?
Like kind of like what ghosts are just like echoes, like just kind of remnants, traces of a person just kind of out there in the void of, yeah.
The transmitter cannot be seen, but it is there, towering above all, and it sends out its signals. You will receive the signal.
For a town that didn't have a TV station, you sure like the whole broadcast metaphor. Okay.
How are you
Yeah,
feeling
so
right now?
He is feeling, I think, unsettled by that. That was shockingly unsettling.
Take a condition, unsettled.
Yeah, and then Nathan says, right, so I asked you your name.
Give me a moment. I'm going to come back to this.
Okay.
Let's check in with Topher. So there is a lake, Topher. Are you going to said lake, Deep Lake?
Yeah, I think he's gonna just go and sit out there and kind of relax while looking through pretty much anything that she can find on the area online.
Yeah, I like it. That works for me. Go ahead and just do the move. Meddling move with reason, I would say.
For sure. That is a 6+1 for a cool 7.
Sounds good. I'll give you your clue really quickly. So what's the nature of the query here? Are you just like searching the name of the street, or what's going on here?
I think she's looking on I mean first of all looking on the Deep Lake Odyssey forum, see if any of the fellow weirdos have seen anything about that, because she finds that people are more reliable when they have their own weird shit going on, that they're not too worried about your own. And yeah, probably just cruising forums looking for things about it.
Okay, that sounds good. So I think you're kind of going through this. You're trying to find out, just seeing kind of what's out there. I would say that it's probably, this local legend is a very, very local legend, and there's not a whole lot of information out there. However, someone has uploaded a photo album that was recovered from an A. Rappaport, and we do have an Abigail Rappaport. This is the older children of the Rappaports. They've uploaded a photo album, and the purpose of the upload is sort of like, it's like the last memories of the missing or something like that, right? It's this idea of kind of like showing who this A. Rappaport person who went missing, what was the last thing they were doing, and all that kind of thing. And all the pictures are the sorts of things you would expect to see. It has a title, Summer Camp 93, and there are pictures of kids playing at summer camp in Deep Lake. In fact, you might see one picture that looks very, very similar to the spot you're sitting in right now on the lake. Flipping through the pictures, though, you get to the last page, and you see what appears to be a bunch of squirrels, quite dead, arranged in a strange pattern on the ground. That's your clue. But then when you flip back through the pictures, You see that same scene, the tree, just like the tree that you're sitting next to, the lake bank, just like the one you're sitting on. Except in the lake, you see the photographer has captured an arm sticking out of the water, someone drowning. Looking at the picture, Topher, how do you know it's your arm?
I think that as she squints at it, she he kind of gasps and puts his hand to his mouth as he realizes that on the back of the hand is it's very simple. It just says rogue in all capital letters on it.
And so you have a tattoo like that as well?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Displaced, I think, for lack of a better word.
I love it. Take the condition displaced for now. That might change as we develop the idea more, but I like it. But you have your clue, which is, well, these strange pictures, but also specifically this last picture, which is so, it almost looks ritualistic, I would say. Back to Sean and Ashley. Casey Wilcox is still standing on the sidewalk.
Sean will look back. Oh,
Go ahead.
he'll
Go
look
ahead.
back at the house and look back at Casey and say, so coming?
He's like, I am sorry, this is as far as I go. It's a deep lake thing. That's why I asked you.
What will happen if you step one step further?
As you're asking the question, he's actually looking at the window, a ground floor window in the house. I mean, it's a ranch style house, so they're all ground floor, but he's looking through the window. And he gets just like a little small smile on his face. And he says, I better go. Let me know what you find out. And then he turns and walks off.
Do you think we're sacrificed, Sean? Is this a trap?
I mean, probably, yeah. But, I'm here.
It's okay.
We'll
You
be
can
fine.
punch a ghost, right? You could punch a ghost.
I'm not sure, but I'm game for trying.
Would love to see it happen. Well, let's walk into the trap.
Is it like boarded up or?
It's actually not. The door is locked, though. You will be doing a little bit of breaking and entering if you try to go in the house. So.
You know.
I think the first thing Sean's going to do is there still a doormat?
There is, yeah.
Gonna lift the corners, look around for any rocks that might be a little fake.
Make the meddling move. Actually, you might stumble on more than you hoped. I think with I think it's probably reason.
That's a 5.
Very good. Ashley, what are you doing in the meantime?
I think first I would have taken a look at the window, and I think maybe I'm trying to see if there's, because this is old, abandoned, maybe there's just windows that are open and broken and you can just enter that way.
Yeah, maybe if you go around the back, that might be the best.
Yeah,
thing.
I'll skip off to the back.
Let's talk about the backyard a little bit. The backyard, which you can access very easily through a fence that's not locked. There is a swimming pool filled with a shallow layer of mucky green water, faded and cracked sunbrella furniture, large overturned planters. Let's paint the scene, everyone. The Rappapors enjoyed one last day of fun in the sun before their disappearance. What do we see around here that shows that?
there are a bunch of like deflated and dilapidated pool floaties that are still in the like algae covered pool.
There's a like very weather beaten slip and slide on the grass.
There's a table kind of on the patio, and on it is one of those glass like water, like liquid dispensers with a little spout handle that is like filled with just like this brackish, gross looking fluid that may have at one point been lemonade. It just has a colony of mold that's grown on the top layer of the water, and the table next to it has rotting styrofoam plates and utensils from, possibly a barbecue.
I was also gonna say barbecue. So I think we see one of those like basketball rings, like that just has like the sturdy bit at the bottom and then like goes up, and the net is like all rotten. There's like vines growing up on it.
It is the summer, Ashley. And because it's the summer, you do hear the sounds of summer in the distance. You smell the smells of summer in the distance. It's almost like looking in this backyard of the Rappaports it's almost like you're listening to the past of this place. Children's laughter mixed with the squeaky whir of bike wheels in motion. The smells of a backyard barbecue, charring meat, hoppy beer suds, kids pickled in chlorine. The back door to the Rappaport house swings open, as if inviting you in. What do you do?
Sean, it's really gnarly over here. Come on.
Sean, you got a miss. You see a woman with a very intimidating helmet of brown hair, a striped polyester blouse, very chunky jewelry, marching over toward you. She doesn't care about superstitions. She walks right across the yard, right up to where you are at. And she says, hello, hello, hello.
Hi. Hey.
And
He'll
you
kind of
are?
step away from poking around at the rocks, put his hands behind his back.
She says, you must be new to the neighborhood. I know everybody in the neighborhood and I don't know you.
Yeah, just back for the summer. Actually, I lived here when I was a kid.
Oh, well, welcome back to Deep Lake. My name is Patience Head. I am the, I sort of run the local homeowners association in this neighborhood, and I just generally sort of keep an eye on things. It's kind of my job to ask questions about new people, unusual people. Not that you're unusual. You're actually very, very handsome young man. But what are you doing here?
Oh, kind of look around, see if he can spot Ashley. Did you know the Rappaports?
She says, yes, I did. They moved one day, didn't tell anybody. That's okay. Normally you would check in with other people in the neighborhood and other members of the HOA, but they decided to just leave. Didn't even come to collect their extra key. I'm sorry, do you know them? Are you a nephew or something?
Yeah, I was friends with the boy.
Oh, I can't quite recall his name.
That's funny. Yeah, no, we went to school together, and our friend told me that they just disappeared, and I thought maybe I'd check in, see if there's anything pointing to where they went, maybe, or maybe they left a note.
Young man, that is not the most plausible sounding story. I have something of a nose for implausible stories. You wouldn't believe the sorts of things that people try to get over on me around here. But I am not easily gotten around, as you might have already deduced.
Right.
I mean, it's certainly no business of mine what people get up to in the privacy of their own homes, but as the president of the HOA, I have a responsibility to keep an eye on what's happening outside these houses. I mean, what sort of neighbor would I be? What sort of community leader would I be if I didn't stay abreast of the happenings around here? And you, young man, are a happening.
Well, that's the first time I've been called that. That's great. I mean, I
At
get
this
it, I
point,
get it.
Ashley will call out, and then Patience will say, "Oh, you have someone here with you."
He's kind of trying to gauge his options here and say, another friend from school, friends with
My
the
goodness.
little girl.
Are you all here to enjoy the lake? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Well, the lake is that way.
Yeah, but checking in on old friends and seeing maybe some clue what happened. Maybe we could tell you what happened if we figure it out. Close that little mystery for you. Maybe just
I'm not much one for mystery books. I prefer romance. I'm a Danielle Steele girl.
oh, Danielle Steele. Yeah, my mom loves her. No, that's great. Well, I mean, Danielle Steele.
I want the
writes
day
some-
move for you to get out of Patience Head's grasp. What are you afraid is going to happen if you don't pull this off?
Oh, she'll call the cops.
Go ahead and roll with composure for sure.
A 7.
I will tell you how you are vulnerable. You will be able to proceed with your investigation. You'll talk her out of it, obviously, but you will be marked by Patience Head. Do you want to proceed?
Well, I really want to know what happened to the Rappaports and my friends, and you understand what it's like when people just disappear from your life, right? Like,
Well, it's a free
sucks.
country. It's a free country, young man. And even though I think what you're doing is probably against some sort of law, I can't help but be a little curious myself about what happened to them.
Right on. Yeah. I can fill you in on anything I find out.
I've got my eye on you, young man.
Well, don't forget about the other one. I'm a whole eyeful. That key, though, you said you had a key. They left, right? Because that could help with the investigation.
She looks left, she looks right. She says, "You didn't get this from me.
Oh, of course not. Mum's a word.
You."
Right on.
Take the condition marked by Patience Head. Let's pick up with Nathan Toomey. The tower transmits once, twice, thrice. The tower sends its signals once, twice, thrice. Do we receive them? Open your receiver and receive the signals once, twice, thrice. You're muted.
No, I'm not. He's just gaping, just kind of every so often. He just kind of fumbles around the words from when he says, okay, yeah, signals once, twice, and thrice.
Oh, oh my goodness. Oh,
You all right?
I think so. You were asking about 18 Escondido Street haunted
Yeah.
houses?
Yeah, spooky.
Yes.
No, I was just wanting to look into kind of the whole Rappaport situation. Do you guys have something I can look into, Mrs.
She says, "My name's Lupe. Lupe.
Lupe?
Yes.
Nice to meet you,
I'm
Lupe.
Lupe the librarian."
That's really funny. Okay, so great. There's something I can look into: microfiche, database, computer, really kind of anything.
You keep saying these words. We have old newspapers. How
I'll
will that
take
do
it.
you?
I will
Okay.
take that. Yeah. Okay, great.
She's like, and I do actually owe you a clue.
Mhm.
I think as you're coming around the corner, you hear a smashing sound, which is a weird thing to hear.
I kind of want to go crane my head in that direction and investigate the source. Like, oh my God, is someone okay? Like,
There is a bunch of mirror glass shards on the ground, just smashed all over the ground.
I didn't, that wasn't me. Sorry. Do you have like, give me, I got a broom, something I can like sweep that up with?
She's like, oh, don't worry about that. Things happen.
Okay. Newspapers, point me in the direction, please.
Indeed.
Cool.
She will do that. You do get a clue though. The clue is
Great. Yeah.
this smashed mirror at the library, just randomly. No apparent person who did it. You don't see anyone around. And then she takes you to their little newspaper room where you can begin taking a look at things.
Yeah, I can, might as well make use of my latchkey move to,
Yeah.
use my background as a researcher to get some benefit here.
Let's take a 5-minute break.
Okay, cool.
Okay, we're back. I think we'll do like one more quick round of scenes and then we'll wrap the day phase. Topher, what do you do when you're done with your internet research?
I think that they are going to I have it written that they have a fear of mirrors, but I'm thinking it's more like a fear of reflections. So I
Oh,
think very trepidatiously she's going to approach the surface of the lake, because while she likes, water and the sounds and smells of it and all that whole reflection thing, that's freaky.
I want the day move.
And yeah, absolutely.
Because the day move says, just for people watching the video, when you do something risky or face something you fear, name what you're afraid will happen if you lose your nerve.
I think that the irrational fear that's always plaguing their mind, or maybe it's rational, who knows, is that if they look too long in a reflection, that their reflection is going to reach out and swap places with them.
Very
So I think
intriguing.
that's what they're scared is going to happen.
I'm going to make you roll actually with sensitivity.
Cool. 4.
Or you walk to the edge of the lake and you see something floating mere inches from the surface. It is you, but it's a you that is receiving different signals. It is a you that has come here from the place that glitches. How do you know it's you but not you?
I think that as Topher opens his mouth to scream, instead of screaming, they say, we are error.
Mhm. I think we will see you slide beneath the surface of the water. Pulled down? I don't know. Going down voluntarily? I don't know. But in any case, you are there, floating just beneath the surface. You will be pulled into the place from which you cannot return unless you mark or turn a key, rather.
Yeah, that's very compelling. I think I'm gonna do that.
Which key are you going to turn? Key of the child or the key of desolation or the key of the cave dweller?
It's a great question. I'm
Think
trying
on
to
it.
decide which one I think would be best. Yeah.
Think on it. Let's cut over to Sean and Ashley. Ashley, the door has swung open in the back. You call out to Sean, Ashley, there's a man in the house. He looks to be about 24, 25, around your age. You don't recognize him. He's wearing a Super Metroid t-shirt. And he's just standing in the dark hall by the back door. And he raises his finger up to his lips. What do you do?
Sorry.
He beckons you in.
And I'll go in very carefully.
He closes the door behind you. He says, you don't know me, but I'm a friend of your friend. My name is Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I want to play a little joke on Sean. Maybe you can
What
help me.
joke?
I'm going to jump out and surprise him. You have to just bring him in here.
Okay. I mean, yeah, okay. You're a friend of, sorry, I just met him. What's his name again?
I'm a friend of Sean. Ashley.
I guess I'll ask this to Sean. Have you mentioned Mark to us? Like, would I know this?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Cause I'll be like, yeah, sure. That sounds like a fun joke. Well, you go hide and I'll get Sean.
All right. I'll be right over here. And he points to like the pantry door in the kitchen.
All right. Hide. I'll skip off to Sean. And I'll be like, hey, come over here. And then when you're close enough, I'll whisper, there's this really spooky guy, Mark, who wants to jump scare you. Just act surprised. He's really into it.
He said his name's Mark?
Yeah. Why?
No. Why?
I'm sorry. I don't, you hate jump scares. I'm sorry.
mean-
I should have checked.
Especially in creepy houses where, is that door open?
Yeah, it was open when we started.
Oh. Yeah, Mark, that, I think maybe we should not.
How are
maybe
you
we should
feeling?
not. It doesn't make sense. Mark would not have followed him here. No way. And also wouldn't go for a jump scare.
Take the condition confused. What do you do?
It's just a joke. I mean, if we make him laugh, maybe he'll help us. I can be jump scared. It's okay. I'll act. I have a really good dolphin scream.
Wait, can I hear that? Wait, no, later.
Okay.
Is there like Is there anything around on the ground that could conceivably be a weapon?
Sure, like a fallen tree branch or something.
Yeah, he'll grab the fallen tree branch and just walk close to the door without going in and say,
To
Come
which
on
door?
out.
The pantry door that he's supposed to be hiding in?
no,
or
the back door.
Oh, there's no answer if you
Mhm.
go to the back door.
You said he's where? In the kitchen?
I'm sorry. Why did you pick up that branch? Are we gonna hurt someone for I could just tell him it's not a funny joke.
Yeah. But we'll go in together though.
Is the house creeping you out?
Yes.
Okay.
I want
Okay.
Sean, I want the day move to enter the house. What do you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
Day move. I'm gonna embarrass myself in front of my new friend and co-investigator by being too scared for this.
Roll with composure for now. And I think because of confused, I'm going to make you roll a disadvantage.
That's not going to make things better. It's a 3.
You are not going to be able to. I think you just like chicken out for whatever reason. But even before we can have that scene of you chickening out, I think we hear the little boop, boop, boop of a cop car, and that causes you to jump. And so what do you do that's embarrassing in front of Ashley?
He does a pretty good dolphin scream.
Very good. I love it. That's great. Unless you want to
Ashley
mark,
goes like, yeah.
unless you want to turn a key, there's also a cop here now. So
Yeah, I think I'll turn a key.
okay. Decide which one you're going to turn, and then we'll come back to the scene in a bit. Nathan Toomey, you can get going on these newspapers. Just go ahead and do the meddling move with reason, I would say. And I'm going to press on unsettled a little bit and say that the very first newspaper you find, has a story that is the real reason why your family left Deep Lake, the reason your family didn't tell you. What is the story? It's almost like it was waiting on you.
Okay, that is awful. It's a good question. I think, well, so Nathan and his family moved to Colorado after Deep Lake. So I'm thinking the newspaper that Nathan sees that's just at the top of the stack there is about, there is a dry creek bed that was like out back where their old house was. And to Nathan's memory, his dad got a new job, they moved, and it was all very quick, and Nathan doesn't really remember much of it. But this newspaper story is about a series of animal bodies that had just been piling up in this dry creek bed. And like the photos here disturb him because he can like recognize the exact spot he used to like hang out in and paint after watching Bob Ross episodes. And there are just these, like, it's a picture of like some county sheriffs and like animal control standing, and there's just like this pile of carcasses that are very clearly not animal attacks. They look like they've been flensed and flayed, and like something's wrong with them. And the report is all about how like it's like right out back of his house. and it's like right in his backyard essentially. And yeah, I think there's probably his eyes skim over a lot, but there's a bit in there about how, like, interviewing with like homeowners, like, mention how these like showed up overnight. And so yeah, and Nathan kind of remembers there was a day when in the last few weeks before his parents suddenly had to pack up and move that they told him he couldn't go out and play by the creek anymore, and they told him it was just because of some like waste disposal that the city was handling, but he needed to stay indoors.
You can keep going through papers. I'm going to put you at disadvantage.
Okay, that's fine. I'll roll. It's a 6 and a 1. Oh, sorry, no, 4 and a 1, so it's a 5. And this is plus my reason.
Yes,
That's a 6.
that is a 6.
I do get a clue on a miss.
You do indeed get a clue, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And I'm
I'll give-
open to possibly turning a key. I just want to hear what the consequences are.
Yeah, I'll give you the consequence in a bit. The clue, let's see here. You're going through and let's see, how do I present this? Let me think about it for a moment. Okay. You're going through this. What is this sort of like? This might help me a little bit. What kinds of things are you looking for?
So Nathan's background, the kind of like research that he really has been exposed to, has been through his work at Warner Brothers, especially when he was an intern.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of background detail that goes into like, oh, if you're painting a set for animation, one, there's like, he's done a lot of like work studying different things. So he's kind of used to going over details through a fine-tooth comb. He is looking specifically, he's actually not looking for like headlines. He's like looking for stuff before the Rappaport's disappearance in 94, about the Rappaport family, maybe if it was stuff involving any of the family members, any small columns, any from the most minute to anything, but pointedly not looking at announcements, looking for context on the family themselves.
You come across, after spending a good fair amount of the day going through papers, you come across a photo that the newspaper took of the Rappaports. They won a Halloween lawn decor contest that was being held that year. They got judged by Patience Head. She is in the photo as well. You see Father Hugh, Mom Sherry, a little boy who's probably Elliot, but there are 2 girls. Abigail is listed in the little left to right at the bottom. The second girl, it's like they skip her in the description. That's your clue.
Okay.
The complication.
Yeah.
The complication. We'll come back to it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I want a minute. Topher, what have you decided? Are you turning a key?
Yeah, I went ahead and I turned one of the keys of the child, the flashback to when they first discovered TV Odyssey.
Do you want to do it now, or do you want to wait till later?
I think doing it now probably works best.
Please do.
So I think that in the moment of her walking up to the lake before she sees her reflection, he remembers part of the reason why they're so scared of reflections in the first place. And you remember when they were very young, probably around 6, maybe 7, they were sitting at home watching TV, and his parents hadn't come home from work yet. So they were watching TV Odyssey, and at one point, a program for children younger than her certainly came on, and it was this pure black background with a simple white line smiley face who was talking and basically just playing games with her and whatever children happened to be watching. And at one point, the man in the TV had directed them to go and find the closest mirror that they can. And he found himself unable to not do it. He stood and started walking toward the mirror. And when he did, even though she couldn't possibly hear the TV anymore from where she was, they could still hear the voice of the person in the TV saying, "Look deep into your eyes and you'll see that there's someone else's. It's your best friend waiting." And then the reflection smiles back at her and he screams and runs away because he did not smile.
I love it. So you keep it together. You do not go beneath the water, but you saw what you saw. And I'm going to give you a condition for your 7 to 9, which is it's going to be called the glitch in the lake.
Awesome.
Sean and Ashley, there is you turned a key, didn't you, Sean?
I did.
What'd you turn?
Key of the child.
Do you want to do your thing now, or do you want to wait?
Sure. I chose a flashback of how you were an outsider among your school peers. And I think we see a early summer day, early late spring day at Ponderosa Elementary School in Deep Lake. And there are some kids playing lacrosse on a field, but behind the gym, we see a much younger and much smaller Sean talking with another boy. And the talk progresses to a very light kiss, followed immediately by gasps and laughter as the rest of the team turns the corner. The boy that Sean kissed pushes him to the ground, calls him a name, and that name would follow Sean until he left Begoya County.
You cross the threshold into the kitchen. Ashley close behind, I gather. Ashley?
Mhm. Yeah.
The pantry door is closed. That's supposedly where Mark is waiting to jump out at you. What do you do?
I'll whisper to Sean. I'll just call it off if you don't think it's funny.
Yeah,
Jokes are supposed to be funny. If they suck, they're not good jokes.
not a good joke.
Okay. Like, I think I'll just like make some noise so that Mark will think, we're in position. But then I'll open the door so that maybe he'll like stumble out. Like I'm trying to make it funny to lift Sean's mood a little bit because I'm feeling guilty that I went along with it.
When you approach the pantry door, before you get a chance to open it, indeed, as you reach for the doorknob, you hear on the other side,
So that branch was a really good idea.
Is Sean hearing this too, or just Ashley?
Just Ashley, unless you get closer. Do you get closer?
Oh yeah, with the branch at the ready.
Sean, I'm so sorry about what happened between us. From the other side of the door. I just wanted to come and make it better. I wanted to come and make it right. Come inside. Let's talk about it. Just you and me.
Sean's going to yank the door open.
There's no one in the pantry. Nathan Toomey. The lights go out, plunging you into darkness. There are no windows in this room. And you hear a voice in the darkness. Oh, goodness. Seems like we lost power.
Sorry, Lupe, is that you? I left a flashlight in my car. That's great.
I've brought a message, Mr. Toomey. I've received a signal from 18 Escondido.
Yeah, okay.
It's a termination signal. The next light you see will be a light of pure white. The next light you see will be a light of pure white. Ready yourself to receive the signal. She's getting closer and closer. What do you do? Unless you're turning a key.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna pull back and narrate visually what I'm picturing here. There is the distinct click of a VHS and the grainy image of the scene pauses and rewinds. I'm gonna turn a key. I'm gonna turn the first key of desolation.
Oh, which is the sandstone arch.
Sandstone arch.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a great place to mark that.
I think instead of the lights going out, instead of any of that happening, you get your first signal from the other side in the picture that you found of the Rappaports. In the distance of the picture, it's blurry. Very blurry, but you're there in the background at the age that you would have been, young, a kid. Just someone snapped you, like you just had to be running by, and you got caught in the photo. But how do you know it's you? What are you wearing that lets you know that, oh yeah, that's me?
Young Nathan Toomey is wearing he had a weird fashion taste as a kid. He is wearing a kind of like baggy jeans, but he always had on some kind of like t-shirt. In this case, it was had like an orange stripe across the middle. It's a gray shirt, orange stripe, and he over top that frequently wore just like floral Hawaiian shirts, or tropical shirts, and that's him. There is no doubt about that.
Fantastic. And
14-year-old Nathan Toomey just kind of standing there in the background.
Yeah, I think we'll just leave it there.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah,
that's a clue.
Well, no. Your clue was do you get another one?
I get two clues.
Oh yeah,
because
okay.
of the move. Yeah,
that's really good. Okay,
still terrifying.
The clue is what you're doing in the picture. The picture was taken in the yard of 18 Escondido Street. You are in the photo, and you are hiding something in the photo. You are putting something it's almost like something is reaching out from those little windows that are at the basement windows that are near the ground, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you're handing something to someone down there or receiving something. You have no memory of this, by the way.
Is this 18 Escondido or a
At
different
18
house?
Escondido. You don't have the clue yet. You have to follow up.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, terrifying. Okay.
And that will wrap our day phase. Of course, Sean and Ashley could have looked around the house a little more. We'll assume you did. I'll give you the basic lay of the place if you ever come back, but we're not going to dwell on the details. We're going to go straight to the next phase because that's how this goes. And that is the dusk phase. So do we have any moves that resolve during the dusk phase? I don't think we do. I'm pretty sure we do not. So the next thing we have to decide right now, you have a tape. Are you going to watch it? They can only be watched at night.
How are we feeling, gang?
Are we watching it at our temporary home, or
You
do
have
we
a
have to
you
go-
have you have a TV and a VCR at Rodenbecker Street.
I mean, that sounds good to me.
I mean, it showed up on our doorstep this morning. I mean, like, might as well, the thing we've been here for, finally making some headway on
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Ashley,
sounds about right.
Ashley feels like we all deserve a fun movie night because that's what this is gonna be.
That's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Very good. You would have the option of answering a question right now if you wanted to. I don't think you have quite enough clues yet to do that. But it would be an option normally in this phase. And now you get to say what you're going to be doing during this night phase. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. The focus of a night phase in which you're watching an Odyssey tape is the Odyssey tape. Your characters are literally sitting down on the couch in Rodenbecker Street watching the tape. We're going to pause the tape periodically so your characters can get up and do other things, go to the bathroom, or just maybe you have some other little project you're working on. But basically, whatever you do tonight it has to be, it's like the length of a bathroom break. Like it can't be very long and you can't go very far. You may not have any particular ideas, and that's okay. But if you do have an idea of something you would like to do in between the pausing and restarting of the tape, you can certainly say that now.
I think Sean would like to try and call Mark.
Okay, I love that.
Topher's going to, I think, update their blog.
Love that.
I think Ashley is feeling that the mood is dour. She doesn't like that. So getting us snacks, maybe like baking some like the mug cupcakes that's like done in a minute in the microwave, like
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of really quick,
Yeah.
gooey, fun nonsense.
Mug brownies. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Nathan is unsettled to the point of just kind of feeling like, I don't know what to do. I really don't. So he's just he's like looks around, and Sean's taking a phone call every so often. Topher is just kind of in the corner typing. He's just like, okay, I'm just kind of, he's standing like awkwardly in a corner, and I think he ends up following Ashley just to like be like help out if I can, kind of just like help wrangle snacks, and just is kind of around unsure, just doing whatever to keep himself busy because he's not sure what to be doing right now.
I love it. I don't think we have any unresolved key prompts, and so that just leaves the Odyssey tape itself. So now we're going to step out of character for a little bit and talk as players. If you want to click over to the tab Odyssey tapes on the character keeper, the very first tape on the list is Happy Jack 06 Duress Signal, Pure White Pretext. Now, the way this works is I'm going to assign, there are 4 prompts, and I'll assign the prompts to all of us as needed. And we're going to take a break, and your job on the break is to read the whole thing, but also consider your prompt in particular, because when we press play on that part of the tape, you're going to be the one to continue the narration of the tape. It's a little bit like telling a ghost story to each other, right? That's what the tape sort of is. And when the prompt, you'll just incorporate that into your narration. You won't read the prompt. You'll just sort of incorporate it into what you narrate, as long as you narrate what it says to do. But that's basically how this works. It's if you've played the Between, there'll be some familiarity here with the unseens, but it's slightly different in the sense that this is actual fiction for your characters that's taking place instead of like a thing off in London, right? Nathan, you have an extra little job because of the Sandstone Arch. You have a new question unlocked on your Dawn questions, which is, did you receive a signal from the other side? And in order to answer yes to that question and get an experience point, you have to narrate something in the real world that appears or is suggestive of something that we see on the tape, or vice versa. You can narrate something into your scene in the tape that happened in the real world. So that's another thing to do as well. I'm going to go ahead and read the basic premise of the tape here, and then I'll assign the prompts. Happy Jack 06, duress signal, pure white pretext. This tape is an episode of Happy Jack the Lumberjack and Friends, a children's show that aired on TV Odyssey. The episode opens on a scene where Happy Jack, a crude wooden puppet wearing a flannel shirt and knit cap, a plastic axe taped to his hand, is comforting his friend Lucy, who is portrayed by a crying 12-year-old girl. The first prompt is for everyone because it's paint the scene. The second prompt is going to be for Steph. The third prompt is going to be for Ben. And the fourth prompt is going to be for Alex. We're going to take a slightly longer break so you can think about your part of the tape. And so we'll come back in 10. It's the night phase. We're watching our first Odyssey tape. You press play and then get comfortable on the couch. What do we see?
The episode opens with a forest, Happy Jack's forest. There are trees, there are ferns, plant life, but it is very evident that this is just a basement, a lifeless concrete cement room that someone has filled with paintings and facsimiles. But things stand out. And one of those things is you can see that the foliage that's been kind of like set up in the foreground does kind of move with a slight breeze, but just barely out of frame. You can see just a couple of rusty wire standing fans that just rattle and shake as they blow air onto the set.
And as they blow that air, there's this faint sound like metal screeching over a wall. And sometimes the lighting just catches really weird. And when all of us like focus a little more on it, we can see that through the ferns, through the 3 setup, there's actually still some really sharp looking tools that haven't been removed from this basement. A hammer, a screwdriver, all that kind of thing, still glinting sharply metal in the night.
And I think that as the sort of theme and opening song is playing, we see a little cardboard cutout of what's supposed to be the moon. And right behind that cutout, as they're panning the camera, we see that the only source of light on set is a dangling light bulb on a wire that is blinking and flickering.
And through the branches of one of the fake pine trees that is clearly a repurposed artificial Christmas tree, you can see just when the angle's right, the gleaming white ceramic of a laundry tub sink.
We will pause the tape there. Sean, are you having any luck getting in through to Mark?
No, this will be the third or fourth time he's tried, and he'll listen, wait for the answering machine to pick up, and then head back to the living room, feeling more and more anxious.
Ashley, how is the brownie in a mug going?
Surprisingly well, I think. I've gathered all the cute mugs that we have, and I've obviously done this before. I know what to do. And if Nathan is looking for work, I'm just giving him stuff to do, making him help me.
Yeah, Nathan, what are you doing right now?
So is there like a specific amount of cocoa powder I should be putting into this? Like measuring
To know
amount?
how much cocoa power, and I put my hand on your shoulder, look you deep in the eye, and say, you listen to your heart.
Okay, so I'm gonna say about half a cup.
Yeah, go for it. Let's see how it works out.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Very good. Topher, as you're updating the blog, what version of the story are you telling?
I think that they've written out and deleted like the blog post a couple of times now. The first one being a fairly real recap of the events that maybe they just keep for themselves, so that they can't forget it. And on the blog itself, I think he writes about scouring the web near Deep Lake and how scenic it was, but still pretty unsettling. And that it doesn't go into too many details.
The group is gathered again, Topher. They press play on the VCR. The screen glitches out for a second, but then the tape continues.
I think Topher kind of gives a little like at the glitch before pretending it didn't happen. And I think that we see as the tape resumes and the crackling of the speakers on the old television kind of pick back up, and the theme song fades down. The camera pans down to a clearing in this forest. There's no background music anymore. And all we can hear is the soft sobbing of a 12-year-old girl. And as the camera pans down, we see her curled up in the fetal position next to a very crude wooden puppet that's wearing a flannel shirt and a knit cap. It's got a plastic axe taped to his hand. And with the other hand is very roughly like patting Lucy on the head. Says, "Don't worry, Lucy. I'm sure they'll be back eventually. It's not like you did anything unforgivable, right?" And the girl, evidently Lucy, she kind of sniffles and looks up and shakes her head at the puppet. And I think at this moment, everyone kind of realizes that the audio's clearly been dubbed over. And the girl speaks, but the words don't necessarily match what she is saying on the video. She says, "But I did, Jack. I did something terrible. It was so horrendous what I've done." And Happy Jack stares at her for a good couple of moments. And he just nods and says, "You were looking into things you ought not be looking into again, weren't you?" And all of the audio on the tape cuts, and the camera zooms in on Happy Jack's face staring directly into the camera for an uncomfortable 15 seconds before cutting back to the shot of the whole clearing.
And someone's cell phone is ringing. Pause the tape. Sean, it's Mark. Do you pick up?
Yeah, I think he'll kind of, as dignified as possible, fling himself from the couch to leave the room to take it.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, I'm really glad you called me back. I want to check in, make sure you're doing okay there in Jim Thorpe.
I'm doing fine, Sean. How about you?
Oh yeah, no, it's great here. We're having it's good. It's good. You're there though, right? In Jim Thorpe?
No, I'm not. And then the
Oh.
line goes dead.
Hello?
Ashley, Nathan, how is this brownie situation going?
All right. Off to the most important part, decoration. So I
have to
didn't have
decorate this.
chance to get a whole lot of stuff, but I've got, and she'll hold up like pink chocolate hearts and then like a little tube of frosting.
He holds up the black charcoal in a cup that he has somehow created and is just like, is this salvageable?
Yeah, that one will be mine. You
No.
baked it.
No.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Ashley, this looks like a lump of something that would be hazardous to eat.
I mean, we could figure it out. But if I die, I will haunt you.
Okay, I don't want that to happen. So how about we throw this out and I can make a new one, or we just share a cup?
I mean, we can have I don't know, how long do you think that conversation's going to take?
I don't know. And I truly, who's he talking to anyway?
Topher,
I don't know.
as you're watching this tape, what about Lucy felt familiar to you?
I think that she has a scar on her left cheek that reminds her of his little sister. But it's almost the same scar, but not quite.
Phone call's done, Sean, and we hit play again on the tape.
As the tape resumes, there's a new segment logo, Cooking with Happy Jack. And we see in the forest, there's a painted cardboard box made to look like a kitchen counter, as Happy Jack takes Lucy through the steps of making cupcakes for her family. And Happy Jack goes through the baking, and remember your fire safety, don't touch the oven unsupervised. But the part you want to make sure is unsupervised is the frosting. We're going to make special frosting for your parents, Lucy. And he goes through the steps as he adds the icing sugar, and then a big box with a picture of a rat's face on it and the X's over the eyes. He adds a healthy dose of that. It says, remember to stir really well. Maybe add some extra sugar. And they bake the cookies, and it comes out looking not quite HGTV good, but he says, as he looks directly at the camera, and remember, Lucy, when they start coughing up blood, ask them if they're enjoying.
Well, that's an ominous note to pause the tape on, considering you're all about to eat the most disgusting looking brownies you've ever seen. Brownie time.
Yeah, I will say that Ashley would have actually salvaged the one that you were about to throw away. And she would have looked you in the eye and just like said, "We don't throw away food, Nathan. It's fine. I'll eat it." And she would have.
Okay, fine. I'm sorry. I'm gonna, yeah, I'll get us some utensils. It's just, hey, he kind of like pokes out of the kitchen. We did not poison these, just so everyone like knows. And, like,
Just the one. That's the game.
She's kidding.
Am I?
Okay. He is gonna walk over to a drawer and just begin gathering like, you know, spoons and like just like forks just for all the, like the snacks they've kind of like thrown together. And he's looking through the drawer and he just kind of like stops because his eyes like just really linger on like the set of like knives and glinting metal from the various like bits of cutlery. And he kind of has this like brief thought where he just kind of reckons like, I don't recall us bringing all of this. Whatever. Just grabs the utensils, closes the drawer, and heads back to the couch.
Topher, what are you doing?
I'll take. He raises his hand, says, "I'll take the poison one. I'm developing this theory that I'm immune to poison. See, it goes like this. I've eaten a lot of stuff, some of it very questionable, right? I haven't died yet. So, pretty sure I'm immune to poison."
I think that's exactly how it works.
That's not exactly how it works.
That's exactly how it works.
Okay.
Didn't you used to do this? Like put in
Microdose
wasabi
poison?
or
No.
something really gross and then one person had to eat it? Because we did that all the time. Yeah, I
Sounds
did that
great.
all the time.
I have very Caucasian taste buds, so no, I haven't done that with wasabi.
All right. We're doing that for the next one.
Okay.
Sean, have you tried to get Mark back on the phone?
Yeah, he's actually sitting there with his phone with the crumbs remaining from his brownie in the other hand, barely paying any attention to what's going on, and just keeps trying to call back and getting no answer.
Everyone settles in with their brownies. We press play one last time on the tape.
The episode fades to black, but the audio does not stop. You can still hear the looping, horrendous, jaunty background music that played all throughout the episode for the forest. But you can still hear a heavy breathing, just a soft and shallow in and out, in and out. And it's Lucy. And Lucy is whispering something quietly under her breath, and she repeats it a few times, getting louder each time. And she says, "No one's pulling his strings. No one is pulling his strings. Help me. He won't let me leave." And then eventually the episode just goes just into end of tape static.
Sean, you're getting a phone call, but it's a local number that you don't recognize.
He'll stand up and, "Yep, be right back," and rush out of the room to take the call.
Hey, Sean, sorry, we got cut off earlier.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Where are you?
Did you enjoy your tape, Sean? Was it everything you hoped it would be?
Why are you doing this?
It goes dead again. How do you feel?
Rattled and scared.
Take rattled as a condition. If everyone else just wants to give us a little, how are you feeling right now at the end of listening to this message from Lucy?
I think Topher kind of chuckles for a second and says, so I should I like leave that part out of the post or like make sure it definitely goes in?
Definitely goes in.
Yeah,
That's
I-
why
I-
we're
I-
here, right?
I
sort of
really
thought so.
hate to say this, but I honestly think that should stay in. It's not exactly like people on the forum are regularly talking about, not everyone gets a tape, and I don't know, what do they call it? Journalistic integrity. I mean, we're not journalists, so that is, moot, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Can
that makes sense.
Nathan looks at all the half poked at brownies. He goes, Can I take any trash? Can I like throw anything away for anyone?
I am very pointedly taking the last bite of the one that you horrifically burned and was way too much.
There's no way you enjoyed that.
I did.
Why?
You
How?
tried because you made it for me. Do you know how special that is? When people make something for you?
Oh, Ashley, you're such a bad liar, but you're so cute.
Yeah. Sorry. Just
No,
wanted to make Nathan feel better.
Yeah, okay. No, I do appreciate it.
And the camera pans out from the house on Rodenbecker Street. The one window is glowing blue from the TV screen, where it's just a blank blue screen now that the tape is over. That concludes the night phase. And that takes us to the dawn. So we would collect rewards if a threat was, that should be mystery, was resolved, but it was not. So now we will answer dawn questions. The first question is, did the Latchkeys resolve a mystery? No, you did not. However, Ashley, did you share a good memory from your childhood? Is that the brownies?
Yeah, I think the brownies and then
Yeah.
like sharing that,
Yeah.
you put something gross in them and then it's funny when somebody eats it.
Yeah, so you can get an XP for that one. Were you vulnerable with someone?
I want to say yes at the end where I looked at Nate and I was like, do you know how special it is when somebody makes something for you?
Oh,
But I did also kind of play it off as a joke after, so I'm not 100% if it counts.
I'll let you decide if you think you got it or not. Nathan, did you receive a signal from the other side, Nathan?
I did. The
Which one?
cutlery.
The cutlery. Okay, very good.
Yeah, and the sharp tools in the
Yeah. Did you cut loose for once?
It depends on if uncomfortably baking despite
I think it is. I think it's in
Yeah.
the spirit of it. Yeah. Did you share a good memory from your childhood?
I don't think I did.
Okay. Let's go over to Topher. Did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake? I would say so.
I don't think it panned out very well, but
No, it did not. But you made the effort. An effort was made. So you can take that one. Did you share a good memory from your childhood?
I think almost, but not quite.
Okay. And Sean, did you share a good memory from your childhood?
I did not.
Did you cut loose for once?
I don't think so.
Okay. So let's go ahead and keep going. I don't think we have any moves that resolve during the dawn phase, and I don't think we have any open key prompts. And so with all that said, that will conclude our session. Let's go ahead and do stars and wishes as our debrief. Stars are things that you enjoyed about the session, either a scene, a character, or multiple scenes or characters, something one of your fellow players did, something I did, something about the game, anything can be a star. And then wishes are things that you hope to see next week when we continue in the story or just in the future. Whoever wants to go first, take it away.
I have stars for the interaction between Patience and Sean. I think both of you roleplayed that incredibly. I loved it. It was very, very funny. Just incredible. Great all around. And I loved the phone calls between Mark and Sean as well. They're unsettling and creepy. And I think one of my wishes is definitely for more of that. And as far as anything else goes, I think my wish for the next session in particular is I'm hoping that I get a great opportunity to trigger that my latchkey move. So I think it's going to be very fun once that happens.
I feel like we've done a good job setting it up, so I'm really happy. I feel like we will have earned it once it fires off. So
absolutely,
yeah. Which is the tricky thing about that particular latchkey move, right? I'll go next. I had a great time. It was really fun. I'm happy that my game works. I'm happy that we were striking the right. I think the thing I love the most is we were striking a really, really nice balance between like the early part of the movie humor and like the scares. We were getting that good mix of that. I really, really loved the baking scene with Ashley and Nathan. I loved the sort of like looking into the lake thing with Topher. That was fantastic. And I agree with Patience Head was super fun with Sean, and also the stuff with Mark as well. Very, very fun. I loved the tape. I thought the tape was great. I was living for that. Like I was like so into what Topher was like narrating in which was the first like proper part of the scene, you know, just, it got me right where I wanted to be for the rest of it. And it was super. So yeah, just big start for that. And for a wish, I'm very excited to, keep this going and see what the next mystery is. Actually, I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got some stars. I simply by principle alone, I have to star Oh Hi Mark. I mean, choice right there. Very good.
absolutely.
Got to echo what everybody else has been saying so far as well. I mean, these characters are amazing. These characters are so strong already. I'm loving what you were doing, Steph, with the setting up your I am error move with the reflection in the lake, but also this whole like reflection phobia thing and your like key prompt. It's all like, I have such a vivid like idea of Topher's vibe now, and I'm like terrified for their very existence. Yeah, I will double down on the Sean and Patience interaction. Ashley is so nice and trusting, and that terrifies me. Because this is great, and I cannot wait to see what happens there. Yeah, and yeah, Jason, good job just absolutely scaring the pants off of us at several times, especially just with Mark just in the house. That was great. My wish is I can't wait to start doing some nostalgia moves with my fellow Latchkeys and, having kind of some conversations and getting to know one another better.
And to clear this incredible number of conditions that have been heaped upon some of you. So
look at Ashley. She's fine.
Ashley's totally fine. Yeah. I love it.
For my stars, Steph, Topher is so great. I love them. He's amazing. I really loved at the end with the like, should this go in or not? And then like immediately like double down and go, yeah, we gotta put it in. I thought that was very fun. I like really felt like the end of the episode, like that kind of conversation just had like an end of episode vibe, which is really cool. For Ben, I love that Sean didn't even consider that maybe there's another guy called Mark. Just immediately went like, it's my Mark, and he's not gonna jump scare me, rather than maybe there's another guy called Mark. I just really love that like single-minded focus that's still there. I thought that was really amazing. Just absolutely great. Um, for Alex, yeah, the brownie scene was so good, but I also really loved what you narrated for the real reason that the family left. That was gnarly. That was damn, that was so good. Um, and for Jason, yeah, patience been said. That was really great. But the librarian, what the hell? The shift between like just talking and then like the very like repeating the same sentence over and over and like knowing where to stop and when to do it and like how often and how much to do it. I think that's a very difficult balance. But you just did it so perfectly. And when the lights went out, I was like, no, I don't even want to anymore.
Jason,
And
that was such a Mrs. Kirsch from It moment.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I didn't have that in mind, but I can see that for sure. Yeah.
That's so good. And I literally wanted to throw stuff every time the line went dead with Sean and Mark. I was just like, no, don't do this to me. I ship it. I love it. I'm very scared. That's sort of the vibe. I love everything and I'm very terrified. And for wishes, um, I'm very interested to see because I set like Ashley up as, like the sweet, happy one. And that usually doesn't end very well for that character in this kind of game. So I'm very interested to like get that slow burn going and see where it's headed. Very interested, of course, for nostalgia moves. I have a move that helps with it. Because I love them so much. So I was like, do them with me. I have a move. I can help. And just more keys. I want to know more about these characters. I want to get different dynamics going, different interactions. I really enjoy. I do really love sort of back to a star, I guess, but I really love that the tape puts everyone together. I thought that was really fun to have like these short moments where everyone is together and like everyone can interact with everyone just for a short period of time. Like that really felt like a found family vibe.
Yeah.
And I really, really love that.
If I can interject briefly, I was very happy with that. That is the
Mhm.
this was the sort of thing that I was like in the design I was most interested in like making work, which is this idea of you're all just kind of coming together and watching a tape and it's fairly light. Like it's scary what you're watching and maybe that's affecting you in a certain way, but the scene itself, there's like not much at stake. Like you're just sort of like kind of having a night in. I mean, I don't know, like if I don't know, I think it's working in the game, but I think you all just did a really good job of like conveying that. So I was really happy with how that turned out in the session. It was really nice.
Yeah, I really love that. So just loving all of it.
No, it's a great and very interesting departure from Unseens. Like I love the Unseen, but this it has the same but also different vibes all at once. And I think my favorite part is that the characters actually get to take part in this one.
I will agree with a lot of what is said. My stars list right at the top, grudgingly, oh hi Mark. So thanks for that. Nathan's interaction with Lupe and Lupe is so that was great. And I some very Stephen King vibes from Lupe as things got weirder. That was great. Ashley is just a delight, and the kind of charming friendliness to this person who definitely shouldn't be in this empty haunted house was just perfect. And I look forward to that causing more problems for us as we go along. So there's a wish. And obviously volunteering to take the carbonized brownie was just, that's so sweet. Topher, yeah, just such a great energy added to the crew, and the fear of the mirrors and the way that you explored that was so good. Star, just across the board for the characters. I look forward for everyone getting to know each other better. And also I really I was not expecting Mark to play as big a role as I just kind of picked a name, but that's great, and I hope to see how that develops as we go. Yeah, this was great fun. The tapes worked really well, and can't wait for more.
I have to give a star to Alex because I stole the significant other showing up in the house
did.
idea from what Alex did with his game that he ran last night. So it worked great. I was really happy with it. Fantastic. Are there any other stars or wishes before we go?
Real quick, I wanted to say that Ashley has incredible like final girl vibes. Like that is the exact archetype that I'm picturing when like she's talking and interacting, and like it's the picture that you chose for her, especially, that's exactly the final girl in a horror movie.
Absolutely. Well, before we go, the old religion. There is a TV somewhere. It's an old CRT, boxy and heavy, on one of those gray TV carts like the teacher used to roll into the classroom on movie day. Except this is no classroom, and we're not here to watch Charlotte's Web for the third time. This TV is in the desert, the blasted landscape where old gods made war on each other. It blinks to life. On the screen is a man so big, he fills the flickering frame. He's wearing a creamy yellow suit, a cowboy hat, and a bolo tie shaped like the sun. He's looming over a table that is comically small in front of his vastness. Tarot cards are spread across the table. He looks at the camera and speaks. It might surprise you to learn that I am an enthusiast of the tarot. The first card in the major arcana is the Fool. It depicts a young man, blind to the realities of the world, stepping off a precipice. The Fool is said to augur a new beginning in life, a new journey, and importantly, on the need to trust the hidden forces of the universe to guide you on your way. I do wonder what will happen to these new fools, these beautiful fools who have traveled all the way back to the enchanted land of their youth in search of the truth. What will happen now that they have stepped off the precipice? Will the universe set them down gently, or will they simply plummet into oblivion? The TV turns off, leaving a hot white dot in the center of the screen.